course, I am Jimmy Ruffian, reporting live November 12th, 2020 from downtown Toronto. We're going to be talking about some post-election stuff. We're going to be talking about some of the Nova Scotia Fisheries stuff that's been happening. We got some updates for you there. Thank you so much for joining me, for those of you who are, for another live Thursday night. Down. Okay. So yeah, some interesting things have happened over the past little while. We finally got, I guess, some level of confirmation over what's happening with the U.S. election. And that's, of course, in Joe Biden. Essentially being confirmed by all the major networks. But, of course, it's not officially decided usually until about some point in December. And that's when you have, the actual official result. But usually when the networks call it, their projections are correct. There's a reason they're calling it. It's pretty solid when they say so, when they kind of are unanimous on it. And they were unanimous in the case of Joe Biden. But of course, Donald Trump and the kind of person and leader and administration that he has led and all those things, he's not going to take that gracefully. I don't know what would lead anybody to expect him to at this point. So, of course, I'm sure most of us have heard by now the hilariousness that is the Four Seasons Total Landscaping. So, ostensibly, they said they were. Trump announced that he was going to have a huge press conference, a big important press conference at the Four Seasons. And for clarification, the Four Seasons even tweeted that this has nothing to do with them, and that it's at a place called Four Seasons Total Landscaping, which is basically like it's a lot where this landscaping company operates out of, that was wedged between like an adult bookstore and something else. Now, not that I have anything against an adult bookstore, but there's something just so on point about that whole scenario, right? Yeah. So for those of you who have just joined us, thank you so much for tuning in. So, and in that press conference, as an example of the sore losers that we're going to have, it took me a second to get that joke, Nat. If you don't add the joke about I'll call Scotland Yard and mulch, I'm going to unsubscribe. As my sometimes co-host, I'm sure you're going to unsubscribe from the show. I didn't really get that joke at first. When she sent it to me, I'm like, Scotland Yard and mulch? What? I was just utterly confused. Somewhat ashamed of that. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. As an example of how not gracefully anybody in this administration is going to take this thing, we have Rudy Giuliani here. It's just going to show us how, not graceful he is.
The poll? because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe
come on.
Biden is it? Who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks.
Yeah, all the networks. It's almost as though like he was expecting something like, them just to say CNN or MSNBC so he could jump on that and be like, see, they're fake news. But he got all the networks. All of them agreed. So, this little act he's putting on, like, oh, all the networks. It's like, it's so like trite and forced, right? It's pretty amazing. The network, because the networks don't call the election. I remember quite clearly in 2000 when Bush Jr. was elected, and Fox was the first one to call it, and they were all pretty happy to accept that as the call, right? They hopped on that really quick, and all the other networks fell in line, and everybody was okay with that. Who said that's pretty good. Oh, all the networks, all the people that, like if they all agree on this, there's essentially like never wrong when it comes to this. Yeah, we can, like, they have the access to the information to put those numbers together. There's no way at this point that Trump is going to win. And they know that, so they got to put on this act, right?
Wow. All the networks. We have to forget about the law.
It's
Judges
like what
don't count.
Like, guilty person acts like.
All the networks. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%.
All the networks, he had to like rack his brain for a second there, right?
Gee, what happened? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do.
Yeah, this clip just happened to be from NBC, but it's pretty obvious. Oh, okay, I don't know what's trying to autoplay now. He said what he said. That was not like edited to make him look stupid or anything like that. He said what he said. He acted how he acted. There's not really any covering for that, right? Amazing. These guys are all such schmucks. Like, nobody actually believes this, right? It's got to be like a purely ideological thing, like the whole, Trump cult, right? It's there's no way that like there's a commitment to reality here. It's all about being ideological. It's they want to see this vision of the world being put into action, no matter who it hurts and who it harms. And that's so ironic because that's the exact same type of alarmism they try and raise about socialism and communism. Despite the more people tend to learn about those things, the more they realize that it's just not that way. Socialism and communism through history has a tendency to, when you get through the westernized propaganda, that it stands for democracy and human rights far better than the West in a lot of ways. And that, for many people, is evidently a really, really tough pill to swallow. But it is what it is. It's, the level of denial that these guys are going to have and how much they're going to push to call this unfair and to pull every legal trick in the book to not be held accountable is... it's going to be quite something. Forgot that I took my cable tie off of here. I'm going to That's the pleasure of doing this show live. I'm going to try and fix this right now. How's everybody else doing out there? Who's joining the show? Who's watching? Has anybody got any questions or commentary to add? There we go. Yeah, sometimes when I'm doing the musical recording and such, I have to, switch the cable to a different microphone. So, that's the Rough Report, baby. We're not the most formal show on YouTube, that's for damn sure. I feel like we're a little better than some others, though, I'd like to think. So speaking of our co-host Nat joining us in the chat today, speaking of westernized propaganda, made quite a funny post. It's an observation she's made before, but I feel like it's worth noting again. I'm going to pull this up on Facebook here. How old were you when you realized Rainbow Bright's antagonist was Saddam Hussein? Quite literally. Let's take a look here at this guy. If that is not supposed to be some sort of caricature of Saddam Hussein, I don't know what is. That's just amazing. Yeah. We're fed all sorts of messages in all sorts of ways. Not to say that there's defending Saddam Hussein. He's committed some atrocities. But that said, there is a lot of propaganda out there that we didn't necessarily realize was propaganda. Yeah. No, there's no way that is not supposed to be a caricature of Saddam Hussein. There's just no way. That's 100% what that is, without a doubt. Okay. Nat's coming in now.
Sorry, but even the way that Murky is a villain on Rainbow Bright by poisoning things in a way that's very reminiscent of an oil spill, right? Iraq oil fields. Am I crazy? I don't think you're crazy. I don't think I'm tipping it windmills. I think that I think this is a thing that I've only pulled back the curtains recently. I ordered myself a Murky figurine in the winter when I was going through my.
Do you have it?
I do. 1 sec.
Yeah, you should get it. Oh, also, darling, while you're running out there. Never. Okay, bring the bottle back with you. The Rupp Report, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we roll on this show. Okay, so I guess I better wait for Nat to finish what she's doing here.
So in the winter, when I was going through the initial coping stages of buying things online, from eBay, I got Rainbow Bright figurines like this one. But then I also got this one.
Yeah, let's get a nice.
And this one is giving me a lot of
come on, look at this guy.
Really a lot of complicated feelings, especially since one of my favorite movies is Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah. Where
Saddam Hussein is the main villain in that one.
Of course.
So around the same era, and I'm just oh fuck. It's just the veil has been torn off.
Okay, we can't. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this label on. Well, I'm not monetized yet anyway. I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So like and subscribe to the page so we can get there. And I can actually worry about having to do these things. Yeah, and there's more copywritten material right there. I'm sure they don't mind.
Product placement.
Yeah, there's no way that the folks at MST3K are going to mind the free promotion. Watch MST3K on Netflix.
And RiffTrax.
And RiffTrax.
If you have
on, yeah. Don't promote Amazon on the show.
Amazon. I'm saying that if they already have it, like don't spend your money. But if you're already using them.
If you already have Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big F. If you don't worry about it. Like, download it, man. Like, we're in the age of like piracy. We can still do this shit. Torrent it someplace. Anyways, I'm going away. I'm still making dinner.
Okay. Love you, darling.
Bye.
All right.
Saddam Hussein.
Jeez. Okay. So let's talk about Joe Biden winning for a minute and what that's going to mean in the long run. Yeah, I think how I've heard it put best and how I like to kind of capture the feeling around it is Joe Biden. Well, I'm happier to be fighting neoliberalism than fascism. And you can make the theoretical argument about how similar those things are and how the two parties are ultimately the same. I understand. But I also understand that there are clear-cut differences and materialistic differences that make a difference to people's lives. Maybe not to everybody's lives, certainly not in foreign policy, which is the point I'm about to get to. But certainly in domestic policy, it makes a functional difference in people's lives, the difference between these two parties. But what's more important is recognizing the difference between, say, a centrist establishment Democrat like Joe Biden and a more progressive Democrat, a more progressive candidate that we could have had in Bernie. Here. Just to put a contrast between the two here.
He doesn't have a rival, in my view.
Okay. Yeah, they're talking about Henry Kissinger, by the way. And Henry Kissinger, if you're aware of the history there, he is responsible for a lot of human rights atrocities, as far as him being part of the Nixon administration, as you will hear described by not Joe Biden.
The entire world. He doesn't have a rival, in my view, in the entire world. For the breadth and depth of his knowledge and the profundity of his strategic thinking. So, Mr. Secretary, if you're still here, thank you for always being my reality check. Thank you for being willing to talk to this Democrat over all those years in the middle of difficult times with Republican and Democratic administrations. I've called and sought his counsel. I consider him a great friend. And Ron, you...
That Henry Kissinger was one of the most destructive secretaries of state in the modern history of this country. I am proud to say that Henry Kissinger is not my friend. I will not take advice from Henry Kissinger. And in fact, Kissinger's actions in Cambodia, when the United...
Yeah, Kissinger's actions in a lot of places, to say the least. And, yeah, you can say all you want how, you know, Bernie wasn't the left and Bernie wasn't the ultimate answer we were looking for. Of course not. If you're looking for an ultimate answer where we're at, you're an idiot and a pipe dreamer, quite frankly. But there's an obvious difference there, right? And yeah, This is one of the main problems and one of the main negatives you're going to see about the American establishment getting back on track in the wake of not having Trump around anymore. They're going to get back on track in their imperialistic ways. Of course, that didn't stop under Trump, but the plan was sort of altered in a certain way. He didn't handle these things the way a traditional president would handle them, obviously. And I don't know if that's more because he just didn't care and there's other things he was focused on. That's probably it. Those other things being his own selfish gains rather than the, imperial interests of America in the long run, as a lot of these establishment types are going to be. So yeah, I don't care how you slice it. When you try and say that there's going to be no difference between these types of candidates, you're full of shit. I mean, you might be being serious, but ultimately, in function, in reality, you're full of shit. Sorry to tell you. Ooh, excuse me. So, and that sort of brings me to a greater point. Like, now is definitely the time to be coming together and to be organizing super hard to bring things further to the left. We have to eliminate the right. Like, for the right wing to make its progress that it has and make its dent in society and cement a lot of its policies the way it's had, it's taken them a long time. They face resistance in a manner of different forms, whether it be, the somewhat toothless resistance of like Democrats and the Liberal Party here in Canada, because they're somewhat in tow with the long-term economic goals. Maybe somewhat is a generous euphemism there. But yeah, it's taken them a long time, and they've had arguments against them along the way, but they keep progressing and they keep winning little by little, and it's brought us to this point, and we have a lot to fight against. So trying to, like, obsessing over this, like, perfectionism of, oh, that's too liberal, we'll never escape this system by playing along this way. It's this, like, it's a consistent appeal to futility, really. And, you can cite like how theory and that how Lenin, only said you participate in the bourgeoisie elections only to prove how futile they are, but then you organize outside of that. I don't think it's only to prove how futile they are. It makes a materialistic difference in people's lives. And yes, neoliberalism, I think, is a more suitable enemy than outright fascism. In the kind of things that are enabled under a fascist regime. I don't know how else to put that. At least at the moment. I feel like I say those things just to cap off a sentence. All right. So we're almost at the halfway mark for the show. And what I wanted to do actually in this moment is do a little shameless self-plug here because, hey, it's my channel. Of course I'm going to self-plug. I am going to take a quick break, And while I do that, I am going to play the lyric video that I just posted today for the new song. So if you haven't heard the new song yet, that's basically going to be our interlude. So check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, all the major streaming platforms, and of course here on YouTube. This same video, it's right off of the Rough Go channel that I'm streaming on right now. So if you want to hear that song again, you can just go to that video right there. I'm very excited to have released this thing. It's something that I recorded here in this room completely by myself. Did the whole thing start to finish, solitary. And so I'm really proud of how it turned out. And I hope it kind of, playing it off of YouTube, back through this equipment and back out into YouTube. Again, I hope it doesn't sound like complete garbage, but if you want to hear the high quality version, well, listen to it on one of the, proper streams. But, I'll be right back.
In the tangled weeds in which we're caught, all the things we wished we're not, did you bury it down deep inside? For repressed regress, sense of self, further progress has been shelved to make way for the changing tide. Well, it's just another day in this wreckage that we saved. It's just another day in the life. What more could I say? There's no right way to play the game. There's just another
Ah, shoot. Okay. Yeah, I have that fixed now. Oh, damn. Okay, what was I saying? All right. Joys of being live. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, because I don't have actual monitoring through the software on, as you could probably tell. Yeah, anyway, this is a huge deal. It's the largest seafood firm in the country, largest investment by any indigenous group. This is a huge win by any measure. And as I was saying before, it was pointed out that my mic was still not working. To relate it to what I was saying earlier, I think anybody would recognize this as a huge win. Being it not perfect is still capitalism, is still a institutional problem that is going to continue to persist. But this is still a move in a positive direction. And we can't shake a stick at that. And I think the same goes when you're trying to take the best strategy and vote for the lesser of two evils. You're thinking of the materialistic differences that makes in that scenario. And that is an important difference. So yeah, sorry for the technical break there. I think I pretty much was able to repeat everything that I was saying there. Maybe I was able to put it even a little more succinctly. So there you go. Thank you for the take two there, the mulligan, if you will. All right. The show's just getting better all the time, baby. Yeah, I honestly didn't have a lot to talk about on this show on this particular episode because I've been so busy with all the music stuff, so I didn't have a lot particularly prepared. I didn't have any phone calls particularly lined up. The only major subjects I wanted to touch on was the U.S. election and a bit of commentary on there, and this Clearwater deal, which, again, we got to, this is a huge win in every measure, no matter how you can unpack it, that it hasn't solved, long-term institutional problems, all that stuff. You got to take it as a win. And I think we have to apply that to so many other forms of progress, to so many other things that may not seem like they're necessarily wins in the long term. But, they've been playing the long game, so do we. We have to play that long game too. And it's going to take a lot of work. So yeah, that's basically, I think, me capping off the show. I'm going to get Antifa Duck back up on here to play us out. Yeah, just ending things a little bit earlier today. It's a chill day. So again, thank you to everybody on my Patreon, everybody who donated directly to PayPal to help support the musical project and this show. And putting out this song, I wouldn't have been able to put it out in the quality way that I am if not for your donations. So that's really fantastic, and I can't thank you enough, and I hope I can keep providing you with enough content that you are willfully going to continue to donate to that. And so here's to being onwards and upwards. Thank you so much for watching The Rough Report. I am Jimmy Ruffian. I am Jiffy Rummian.